This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com.
What's up, world? This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com, giving you your full Raw recap. This one was April 18th, 2016, coming from London, United Kingdom, across the pond. JBL, Michael Cole, and Byron Saxton as your commentators. It started off with Dean Ambrose coming to the ring and doing the Ambrose Asylum. Did a Raw recap of the Shane McMahon giving him a letter to give to Chris Jericho to let him know that the highlight reel was getting replaced by the Ambrose Asylum. He brings out Shane McMahon. Of course, the crowd goes crazy for that. They do a WrestleMania recap of Shane McMahon jumping off the top of the Hell in Cell cage and missing the Undertaker and crashing through the commentator's table. Says that Shane said that the WWE is his driving force for everything, and it's a new era and all that type of stuff. Kevin Owens come out and said it's no new era. I'm looking at the same old era. It's a McMahon that's on a power trip that's suppressing talent. That's essentially what he said. Shane McMahon said, "No way. I'm allowing people that normally wouldn't get a chance to get a chance." Yeah, that's why somebody like Sami Zayn got his title shot. Kevin Owens was like, "Hey, I don't agree with that. You know that Sami Zayn not good enough to be in the title picture." Of course, Sami Zayn's come out to say otherwise. And then Chris Jericho's come out and say everybody except Kevin Owens is an idiot. And, Shane is drunk with power, as he said. And say, Shane said, look, it's all about new opportunities with me. He said, matter of fact, I'm about to make two matches for the Payback pay-per-view in 2 weeks. We're going to have Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, and we're going to have Chris Jericho versus Dean Ambrose at Payback. So, okay, cool. Your first match is going to be Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. And for those two talents, if you watch my WrestleMania recap with Mr. Fair, I don't think Sami Zayn is that good of a talent. People seem to like him, but he's very plain, very vanilla to me. This whole match was kind of slow. I mean, it was better than the average match, but barely. It was a 3 out of 5 match. But I mean, it was just slow. So, of course, Y2J end up doing something sneaky and poking him in the eye to get the distraction and then giving him a code breaker and winning the match. So that's how Chris Jericho won that. So AJ Styles was getting interviewed, and then those two guys from the Bullet Club, what's that, Anderson and Gallows, they came up and said it was good to see him. Thanks for having them there. They always wanted to be in the WWE. Say they're gonna make the best of the opportunities of being in the WWE. Second match, you got NXT's Enzo and Cass versus the Dudley Boys. They've been taunting the Dudley Boys for the last few weeks. This is part of the tag team tournament semifinals. Um, you know, they isolated Enzo. He's a smaller guy. Cass is a 7-footer. Enzo just a runt-sized guy, as Bubba Dudley would say. And they just beat on that boy for the majority of the match. But once Cass got in, they of course, he cleaned up everything, and Cass and Enzo end up winning it, and they're the first entrant into um, the the finals of the tag team tournament sponsored by Bootios that will take place on Payback in 2 weeks. So that match was a 3 out of 5. Like I said, Roman Reigns come to the ring. Man, they boo that boy unmercifully. He say, hey, he gonna beat AJ Styles at Payback. This is the era of the Roman Empire. AJ comes out and say, hey, Roman Reigns is a great champion. Everybody booed that statement. AJ say, he's gonna have the match of his life to win, and he planned on having the match of his life at Payback and winning that title. Everybody cheered for that. And pretty much AJ said a couple of more things, left out the ring. Two guys from the Bullet Club, Gallows and Anderson. They came and attacked Roman Reigns from behind. You know, Roman Reigns is seen in the background. After a break, and AJ Styles come up to him and was like, "Look, man, I didn't know that they was gonna do that." Roman Reigns was like, "Man, you want me to believe that? They come and attack my cousins 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago. They come attack me this week. They your boys. You got them here. And you want me to believe that you ain't have nothing to do. You didn't orchestrate none of that stuff." He's like, "Look, man, I'm telling you, I don't need anybody to help you to take that title from me." He said, "Look, do what you got to do. You bring everybody, one versus all." Okay, cool. So let's see. Third match, you had Fandango versus the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner Baron Corbin. You had Dolph Ziggler ringside, and they showed 2 weeks ago when they had the double count out with Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, and he planted Dolph Ziggler on the outside of the ring, and Baron Corbin pretty much dominated Fandango the whole. I mean, it was a quick match. It was too quick. He dominated the entire quick match, and then you know, Dolph Ziggler ends up attacking him while he's celebrating, and then he ended up whooping Dolph Ziggler again and planting him outside with that same move. Match was only a 2 out of 5. It was an average match. So the Miz and what's his wife name, Marcy, uh, Mars, whatever. Uh, they did Miz TV, of course. They talking about how great they are and all that type of stuff. And then Cesaro comes out, and then of course, Miz say he gonna win that payback. Cesaro say he's gonna win the Intercontinental Championship at payback. All that type of stuff. Um, Cesaro got tired of talking, said he want to fight Miz right now. Miz was like, "Of course I would do that, but you have a match right now against him." And then Rusev comes out, and then the rest of the League of Nations come out. Of course, there's Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio because King Bear got kicked out a couple of weeks ago, and Cesaro said he already knew that something like that was going to happen. He already talked to Shane. He's not going to have a one-on-one match. He's actually going to have an eight-man tag match, and he pulls off of his suit and reveal that he have on the New Day shirt. So the New Day comes out, and of course that's your next match. Your fourth match is going to be the League of Nations with the Miz versus Cesaro in the Tag Team Champions, the New Day, and that's back and forth action. All the guys end up doing their own little smooth little finishing move type thing on each other to end the match, and they end up with Cesaro putting Sheamus in a neutralizer. Bloom planted him, pin victory. 3 out of 5 for that match. Cesaro and the New Day actually looked pretty good together as a tag team. So Charlotte was interviewed about the controversial ending she had with Natalia on Raw, and of course they showed the ending with Charlotte tapping for Ric Flair grabbing the referee, which referee disqualified Charlotte for Ric Flair's interference instead of giving the submission victory and her losing the belt. Hey, Charlotte's like, look, I'm the champ. Natty had to beat me. She failed to beat me, so that's just that. Natty comes out and said, hey, she was granted another rematch at Payback by Shane McMahon, and this time she's gonna have somebody in her corner. You're gonna have Bret Hart in her corner, so that's gonna be pretty cool. It'd be good to see him. If you remember a little bit back, he announced on Instagram, I believe, that he actually had, I believe it was colon cancer. He was battling cancer, so it'd be good to actually see him in ring, see him sort of healthy. Fifth match, you have an 8 women's tag team match. It was Natalia, Becky Lynch, Paige, and Sasha Banks versus Naomi, Tamina, Summer Rae, and Charlotte, the women's champion. Charlotte, back and forth action. This actually was a pretty decent match. This is either the best match of the night or the second to best match of the night. The women's division been bringing most of the heat lately. Um, Long story short, Natty actually did get Charlotte to tap again in the middle of the ring. That match was a 3 out of 5. Um, you did a recap of Gallows and Andros, and Anderson attacking Roman Reigns from behind, and AJ Styles trying to convince Roman Reigns he didn't know they were going to do it. Sixth match, you got the Vol Villains versus the Usos for the semifinals of the tag team tournament, and that was a predictably quick match. Um, the Usos came out. One of the Usos came out with his shoulder bandaged up, so you already knew that the Vol Villains would actually concentrate on the shoulder and mess that up. So that's what happened, and the Vol Villains ended up getting a win. So that match was a 2 out of 5, just an average match. So you're actually going to have Enzo and Kaz versus the Vol Villains in the finals for payback for the tag team tournament, sponsored by Booty-O's. And that is an all NXT final. So, kudos to the NXT for producing decent talent just straight up. They actually do have a really good program there. If you have a chance to watch that on the WWE network. Um, they did an Apollo Crews montage. another NXT talent. So of course the next match was going to be Apollo Crews versus one of the members of the Social Outcasts. This time it's Heath Slater, and they did a Raw pre show clip where the Social Outcasts asked Apollo Crews to join the team. And he said, "Okay, I'll do it under one condition: if one of y'all can beat me tonight." So of course that was that condition. Cruz really did dominate Heath Slater in this. It was pretty good. He switched up his routine. I love that. So that match was a 3 out of 5. And then you had your eighth and final match. You had Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose. You remember a few months back they were battling each other over that Intercontinental Championship title. They fought several times, which surprised me because this match was pretty low energy. I have to admit, that was pretty low energy. It was kind of a lackluster match for the majority of the match. Kevin Owens actually made the match interesting. Make sure you look at that frog splash that he did off the ring apron to the floor. Kevin Owens did that to Dean Ambrose. It was impressive seeing that guy, that big old guy, do a move like that. He had a couple of things that he had that were like, wow, Kevin Owens is a real deal athlete. Eventually, Dean Ambrose was able to reverse the move and then get the dirty deeds on Kevin Owens. So Dean Ambrose won the match. Ended up being about a 3 out of 5. And to end it, Y2J stuck up behind Ambrose while he was celebrating and gave him the code breaker. So that's it. That's your full Raw recap. Give me them thumbs up, give me them thumbs down, comment, hey, subscribe. Follow me on social media on Playtime Cares everywhere. Tell me what type of stuff you want. Playtime out.